Well, looks like no one's here quite yet. Guess I'll wait for folks to show up. Let's see. Looks like maybe I've got some folks in here. Hello, everybody. Richard Cheese, what's up? Wow. Okay. Well, how is everybody this fine Sunday morning? It's been kind of a humid, rainy week here where I am at. Corrosive. You're not first. Oh my goodness, y'all. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's been very rainy and stormy. In fact, Tuesday morning when I went to work just for the power to be out, to be sent home to work. That's how that worked on Tuesday anyway. Well, what's going on in YouTube land? I've been only kind of half paying attention. What's going on with Rebelina's initiation into the Mean Girls? What's going on there? Does anybody know? Uh, well. So far, I've got 4 people typing in chat, 12 that are lurking. Lurkers, all you lurkers. Midget. Hey, Dave Peterson. Hey, Maddie. How are you? A secret initiation. I'm just kind of bored by it. I I'm If it weren't someone who so richly deserves what is coming to him, I would be upset about somebody being trolled with money in that way. But it's not somebody who doesn't deserve what's coming to them. That's what I have to say. Is Fox telling tales out of turn again? God damn it. Tonic, you weren't supposed to tell anybody that. Shit. Hey, bedtime clown, how are you? Hey, freaking, welcome. How are you? Lord. You know, Tonic says this stuff as if he's a very tall person. And he's not. Not for a man, anyway. My husband was 6'4". He was tall. Yep. Yeah, there are pictures that bear this out, that he was much taller than me. It's true. Don't have any of those handy. That don't have my young children in them, since we were married when my children were very young. Just a second. Let me see if I can. Well, hold up. Where is it? I'm gonna find it eventually. There it is. Okay, let's do this one. This one, I guess Tonic has to take the whole being tall thing where he can get it. So I'll let him have this one. Uh, but it's true. I'm quite short. That one's from February. Shut up, Sancho. I am not. Such a dork. I guess I have this coming though, with all the jokes I made about Sancho's feet over the years. Yeah, Tonic and Chicky and me back in February. And ever since, Tonic has not been able to stop talking about how tiny I am. Y'all are funny. I can ship myself USPS Global Post. Believe it or not, there are shorter women in the community. We have Binks, we have Junebug, we have Ace B. They're all shorter than me. That's kind of tricky. Usually, usually I wear a petite. Usually, almost always. The neat thing is, though, is I can buy. Now, Sancho's going to laugh at this one. I can buy the dresses for the really young women because they hit my knee. That's funny. I, I am that short, but they're supposed to be, mid thigh on a woman that's, 5'7" or 8. But they hit the knee on me. It's funny. Sugar Crits. That's another one that I think, if I remember right, she's pretty short too. Hey, Tommy, everything is going peachy. Thanks for stopping by, Tommy. Hope you have a great evening or great Sunday. Yep, short and angry. I'm not really angry though. I don't think of myself as angry. I could put my on my mom slash Karen voice for dramatic license, but most of y'all know that's not my default. Hazel, not much exciting has happened here. Well, you know what though? I'm gonna drop my link, so if anybody wants to come up, they can. Did anybody watch Brett's stream from the other night where he went over the blog? That little whiny titty baby voice he read it with. I'm just trying to protect you, Mom. I love you. Oh, Lord. Not much exciting. I'm kind of planning tentatively my exit from here. Um, and that's another thing. We're short a person at work, so I had to pick up some of their doctors. But I'm kind of looking at making my exit from here. Somebody said, "Oh, already?" And it's not that this place is bad. It's not. It's just, you know, I'm not as crunched for time now, and you know, I can narrow things down and find some place that suits me even more. Some place where in a couple of months I might be able to bring my son because he might be able to take a room too. Keeping my fingers crossed on that part. Well, I don't have really anything going on in the way of real life. I mean, outside of my kids, I Went to have breakfast with my son and my daughter, who had come over there at their grandparents'. My granddaughter recently graduated from kindergarten. Oh, there's Hassel.
Liz, I'm so happy for you. I went and got a cup of tea just right before you started talking about your goal of moving out of that place soon and you and your son getting back together. And it just gave me like just goosebumps of excitement because you've been harassed for, I don't know, ever since you moved, right? Or a month before you moved because
Have I?
you a month before you moved and people came together in the community to help you make things change. People started coming and calling you a grifter and all this stuff. And, the community wanted to help you. And what's sad about it is you will not get any praise from those people for what you're telling us today. This means that within just a short few months, that hand up that your community gave you is still pushing you on up. And it's amazing. We don't see this from grifters such as Rebel City Grifter. For 3-4 years, he's right where he was. So this is just amazing.
Yeah.
I'm just so happy for you.
Well, I don't know exactly what's being said, but for one thing, he's my son.
Mm-hmm.
And if people have been saying anything about me sending him to his grandparents,
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. I didn't send a 5-year-old away. I sent a well-adjusted 24-year-old to stay with his beloved grandparents.
His home away from home.
His home away from home, where he has his own room and has had since he was a small child, because he would stay over there for weekends. And, I didn't leave an infant on the steps of an orphanage.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So this whole notion that I did something horrible is asinine to me. It really is. And secondly, it wasn't ever meant to be permanent.
Right. Yep. I thought it would take maybe a year. So I am really impressed that things are going well for you and moving in the right direction. And that's just awesome. So are you looking at new places already or?
Oh, yeah. I'm already talking to somebody about it. In fact, one of the great things with what I'm doing, and see, I didn't have any time really to make any arrangements other than what I did.
Yep.
I was kind of crunched for time at the last. And now that I can breathe, I've had, the ability to look further.
Yep.
And because of that, I've been able to talk to people, and people with stories open a whole lot more doors with people, with individuals, than they do with corporate offices.
Absolutely.
So I have somebody that's holding a place right now that will be my room. And then, of course, in a couple of months, there'll be another room.
Awesome. So
So
by end of summer, things will be back to
I'm
a
hoping
unit.
that's going to be the case. We're gonna see. And I just this place is about $350 months, $350 a month less, which will make facilitating my son's return possible.
Well, I'm so proud that you didn't take all that money and go buy weed with it, and that you've moved into one place already, and I feel like you've
Oh
only
no.
been there a
See,
month or
see, one of
two.
the things, okay, so one of the things that I have done, and like I said, early on, I had somebody helping me. But one of the things I've been doing is lowering my tolerance. I've been mindful that somebody's been helping me with that out of the
Mm,
kindness of their heart. So I've been kind of lowering my tolerance. So it was twofold, being mindful of that and also being mindful of the fact that I was going to go back to purchasing my own stuff.
mhm.
And so, you know, but no, I didn't go and spend all that extra money on weed.
We knew you wouldn't. We knew that we could trust you, and that what our intentions were would be
it
fulfilled.
was it was just too practical. But
Mm.
it was just I don't know. I don't know what is being said.
Oh, you've seen it. It was said right in your chat, I believe, and it was. How long have you been in this place? Has it been 4 weeks, maybe?
3.
3 weeks? Okay. Yeah. They came right in, throwing the shit talk about it and making it sound like you shipped your little infant off, that kind of thing. And I don't know, at 24, I imagine he had an opinion on where he was going to go, didn't he?
I asked him how he would feel about going to his grandparents.
Hmm.
And he said that was fine with him.
Yep,
Look, I've been a whole lot more upset about this than he is.
for sure.
He's going on a little vacation for a while.
Yep. Well, we all know grandma's house is way better because we get what we want there, don't we? Well, mine's not around. Of course, you guys
Oh
know
yeah.
that.
Everybody, yeah, and his grandparents dote on him.
Yep.
Plus, they're retired. They have time to dote on him.
Hmm. Yep.
But,
So,
there's a lot of people that, you know, they
is
they
your
have their assumptions about the whole thing, and that's okay. I
well,
mean,
they were so serious about it, pointing out the hypocrisy of this. And I just am still not seeing that hypocrisy because we have two different situations here. And by gosh, things are changing for you daily, weekly. Things are changing for you.
oh, there's my it was never my intention for my son to be just shipped off forever.
Hmm.
This wasn't so I could have a party life or have a good time or have a new man shack up with me or anything like that. It was
Hmm.
so I could regroup because I've already made up my mind about a few things. First and foremost is that if I ever walk down the aisle again, and that's a big if, because of what it takes to make it work, because of how much you have to give to a person. I don't know if I have enough of myself to give to another person that way, you know?
Hmm. Yep.
Mike got so much of me.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I think
And
we've talked about that a little bit in the past.
I if I ever walk down the aisle again, regardless of anything, if for some reason the worst happens or if I have to walk away, I want to be able to stand on my own. I don't want there to be any question of it. And that's how I feel.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It it takes getting to the point of not knowing where your next meal is going to come from. Will you have money to put in that gas to get to work so that you can pay a bill, not all of them, but a bill? And you start to realize now that you can do this. You got this, Liz. You can do this. You're making money. You're intelligent. You're educated. You can get a job probably anywhere you wanted to, and make twice as much money, maybe. And I see nothing but success for you.
See, and there's certain things going on. I do everything I do with 2 invisible illnesses and a very, very strong suspicion that I have a third.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in the process of being diagnosed with that one.
Mm.
And basically, that third one means I'm perpetually tired. And there's nothing you can do about it except smart meds.
Mm-hmm.
And I do everything I do dealing with all that. And I wouldn't every day, it's kind of a pep talk sometimes because it is all on me now.
Mm-hmm. But when you are able to pay that bill or make that purchase all on your own, it's a really good feeling, isn't it? It's like, man, I did that. I was able to do that.
Oh, Wendy, I'm sorry, I did get you unbanned. But and I think part of it is that in the face of what's happened, if you choose to straighten your back and accept what's happened, there's always going to be 2 camps. There's going to be the people that are supportive, that think you've shown strength and grace. And then, of course, there's going to be people that, just want to feed the salacious lie and rumor mill for their own entertainment.
Correct. There's
Things
those
can happen so quick. And Hassel,
golden eyes.
I just realized something that I'm very tired right now. And I realized that 6 months ago, I had 2 helpmates. Well, not helpmates, but, I had a helpmate and I had a helper.
Right.
I have my husband and I have my son, and
Yep.
we were all making things work together, taking turns with the cooking and the this and the that.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, after my husband retired, he was more than happy to take over the honey-do list. And now it's just me to get stuff done. And I'm like, whoa, I'm tired.
Mm-hmm. It's so overwhelming. Remember when you could do it all in one day, and now you might be breaking it up between 2 days or sometimes 3 days to get it all done.
Oh, that happened to me last weekend.
Yep.
I thought, oh my gosh, I got off from work Friday afternoon and I left the office and I thought, oh, I'm going to get this, and this done on Friday afternoon. So I only have to do these couple of things on Saturday. My first errand was PetSmart to get cat litter. And all of a sudden, my entire body started to sweat all over. I never had a hot flash that hit like that. And I felt sick and weak and tired. I had to go home.
Yep.
I went home and passed out. I had to
Are
put it
you
all, the rest of, I grabbed the cat litter and the freeze dried salmon kitty treats and headed out the door. I just bought the stuff and left.
Yep. Are you eating okay? Because we talked about how you get to eat whatever you want, and you weren't really wanting to eat anything. Are you at least getting something in you?
Oh yeah. I'm eating. I'm eating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's your body telling you slow down, girl. And that's just the thing that sucks about it. You could have planned to go to a wedding that day, a very important family wedding that day, and that could happen to you walking to your car on the way to that wedding, and you would have to just turn right around and go back into the house. You it's hard to make plans till you know what's going on and can rest assured that I can make it 12 hours outside of my home and be.
And you know what? You know, that in a nutshell is why I'm glad, I split my time up between work and home. The
Mhm.
whole not having to get out and go into the office
Yep.
helps with my level of fatigue.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I like, I'm still fighting. Like I said, my son, he's having a good time with his grandparents, doing stuff with them and helping them out with some things that they wouldn't otherwise be able to get done at a faster pace because of their age.
Mhm. So they're enjoying that.
Oh yeah, and they get to spend time with him because you know he Tonic, shut up, Fossil.
I dare you to come up and say that to my face, Tonic. I
He probably
dare you.
will.
I know. I'm hoping.
Here we go. Better drop a link so he can do that because Tonic does not have keys to AC StreamYard.
Oh, I always forget that we're on this.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard Brett last night
I might have heard some of it. I don't know if I heard all of it.
talking about how he was going to go live on every single one of AC's channels.
No, I did not hear that.
Every single channel in AC's StreamYard.
Shut up, Hostel.
Make me, Tonic. You don't even have a key to this StreamYards, I found out. And he can't even hear me because he just exited. I ain't gonna shut up.
Oh,
No, I hadn't heard Brett did that. Like you, I was got up yesterday and I was gonna stay up I was gonna stay up till Sunday morning and it was probably I'll guess 11 and I'm finding myself kind of dozing off here and there and I'm like, ah shit, this ain't gonna last very long. Yeah. That's funny that he came up and told me to shut up because I went into a person's live for maybe the third time. Somebody knew I'm following. And I also follow another guy that a person in the chat hates this other guy. And I'm like third time in Ron's stream watching it. He says, good morning and everybody. And this person that I don't even know but hates this Nitro comes up and says, Hustle, go back to Nitro's stream and stay there. And I'm like, fuck me. Some hate for Nitro just ricocheted and hit me right in the eye. That ain't right, folks. Until you know me, don't tell me what to do. So I just had to tell him, give him some shit. But I thought that was funny. How would you like it if a complete stranger uh, told one of your people to go away, Liz, one of your viewers?
oh, yeah.
Like, don't speak for the channel. Stay right here. especially if you would like Liz's Cash App, because we still get to donate for Liz
Oh no,
rebuilding.
I took my Cash App down. I
Girl,
took my Cash App down.
you don't think we don't have ways of finding that, do you?
I'm sure you do, but I am no longer soliciting in any way.
But I could for rebuilding Liz donations. For example, were you able to get your haircut we talked about a few weeks ago?
Yes, I did. I got
Awesome.
my
Right
haircut
on.
and I got my eyebrows waxed,
Oh,
which
I
made
bet
me
that made you
very
feel
happy.
awesome. Yep.
Yeah, I was looking shaggy.
Yep. And at a certain age, you can't see it anymore, but boy, that sunshine will just reflect right off of it to the, and send beams through the sky.
Yeah, well, my eyebrows are blonde, so it
Oh.
takes a long time for me to look shaggy.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So there is that.
unlike Tonic, he would
Tonic
look
has
shaggy.
he has attack eyebrows.
Attack. I saw you in that picture in the restaurant, Tonic, from February. February, you were standing way in the background, so tall in the background there. You were well groomed, short hair. And then Liz takes this picture with somebody. I don't even know who that is. Oh, LG, I colored mine for, God, I can't even count the years, and stopped last year. And with the color on it, I had so much control, if you know what I mean, when you're blow drying and stuff. With no color on it, I'm like, what is this?
That's because you're filling your hair shaft.
Hmm. Can we not talk about Shaft
Not
on
that
YouTube?
kind.
Please? Okay, well, you know what kind of shit that's going to start up in the chat.
Yeah, I know. Lots of dirty minds
I
here.
know. Yep.
That's probably why I use the Korean hair fillers on my hair, because it fills in those gaps. I don't color my hair at all. I don't bleach it. I don't color it. I don't even use lemon juice or peroxide or any of that at
Oh,
all.
why would I want to use the peroxide?
Well, no, I don't
Okay.
use any of that. But
Okay.
what I do use are hair fillers to improve
Mm-hmm.
my hair texture, because there are some gray hairs in my hair. They're
Mm-hmm.
there. I know they are. They look like they're lighter blonde, but they're not.
Mm-hmm.
And the hair fillers just help smooth that texture, and I have more control, especially in the humidity.
Yep. The humidity. Always had straight hair, and somehow it's gone curly now.
Yeah, and see, that's another thing. My hair was very straight, and
Mm-hmm.
now that I'm older, it is wavier. Over the last week, right after getting it cut, the hair around my face, in particular, has been like twirling around my face in this horrible weather.
Mm-hmm. Hey, did they shampoo your hair where you went?
Yeah.
Yeah, the place I went to the last time was just on my way. I'd forgotten, that I even had a coupon in my wallet, and so I'll go in there. They actually
Well,
removed their sinks. They don't shampoo anymore. They just spray it down and go to town.
the place that I've been going for years, which is just a little local joint with pretty good prices. Um, they closed, but the majority of their staff went to another local salon. And so I went over there and got my hair cut, where there were people who had cut my hair before. So
Yep, always nice to do that and kind of start to get back into, the maintenance that you like.
Oh, that's right. You had to lighten it to red before you dyed it back to brown.
Mhm.
I don't know. I would never dye anybody's hair black, Leah. I don't think I would.
Why not black? Because it's just too hard to cover up, or
It's too. You would have to. Well, somebody with my skin color couldn't do it anyway. But if you were somebody that could, it's just a pain in the ass. You have to dye it red first so it's not flat. Dyeing lighter hair black is a two-step process for the most part because you have to have warm undertones before you put the black on there. Otherwise, it's just going to be too flat, too ashy.
good to know. Yeah.
That's a reason why she lightened her hair before going back to brown. She's going to have to. What do we got
Any
here?
questions from the chat? Liz will answer anything you want.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't either.
But, you know.
So Tobers is doing well today.
Oh, yeah, he's doing well.
Mm-hmm. And we've talked about you having a channel just for Tobers, have we? That's
No, I've never made it. I haven't even thought about having a channel just for Tobers.
we would so watch it. We would.
I'd have to be able to film him doing stuff that's cute, I think.
There's one gal that just has mostly shorts or, a couple minutes of the cat waking up, the cat meowed. And yeah, I'll sit there and watch that kind of stuff. So, and then, one gal, she snips sections of other people's videos of maybe being on a yacht cruising in the ocean, and then a still picture of her cat gets placed in that video, and it's so dumb, we'll just sit there and watch that cat in that yacht cruising through the ocean. So that's kind of fun. Of course, you'd call it Tobers for president, right?
Tobers for president.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Tobers sock account.
Ah, you do. I've seen that cat around.
He's a good cat.
When I first heard you say you're planning your exit from here, I thought you meant YouTube, and I was like, oh no. And then I heard more, and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was the whole beauty of this.
Mm-hmm.
If I wasn't absolutely in love with it, I didn't have to stay.
Yep.
And I had more time to find something that would suit, even more and hopefully offer something for me even better down the road. They can bring my son back home and
well, and I know that one of your goals is to build that nest egg up, to get that, just start rat holing all that extra money once you're on your feet and have everything that you need, and just
Right.
get it built up, and in the future when something happens, you've got that safety net that you need.
Yeah.
That day's coming, girlfriend.
But
Yes,
I'm doing well. Doing well.
it's good.
I sometimes it gets a little lonely because sometimes people are fond of saying you don't have any life outside of YouTube. Well, I don't have any money for a lot of socializing or any socializing, actually. And that's not a dry bag, by the way. It's not so you can give me money so I can socialize. What the hell else am I going to do to socialize besides be on YouTube and in Discord? Come on.
Mhm. Yep. And like we said, what if you did set up some plans and the situation happened to you, or that happened to you at the pet store? I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying, baby steps. I would figure out that situation so that you can go out confidently and not have to
Oh,
be a
see,
block.
before I could even think about having any sort of social life, I would have to kind of dig myself out a little bit. And secondly, I think I would need to add another hybrid day to my schedule. I just do. I really do. I, I really think I I don't go on a whole lot of errands outside the house, and
Mm-hmm.
I rest on weekends so I can work my full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the physical strength to do it.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you know how it is when you have super fans.
Mhm.
I don't know what else to call somebody that's going around saying that stuff.
Yep.
But that was the whole beauty of this. I didn't have to stay if I wasn't in love with it. And now, I'm looking at something. And it's like I said, when you are dealing with people and not companies and corporations, your individual stories can go a whole lot further.
Yep. Because as well as I do, those corporations have a script that they must follow depending on what your statement or response to them is, right? So you can't tell
Right.
the story. They're going to ask you questions. Whatever your answer is, they're moving on to that scripted question or answer that they have to provide for you. And you're probably not going to get very far up the ladder as far as supervision on that. But in your situation, you are able to sit down and have a conversation with somebody, it sounds like.
Yeah. And yeah, I've had the person that I'm talking to now, the woman that owns this house, she's holding it for me for another week just because of my story and
Awesome.
the things I've talked to her about.
Mm-hmm. And let me ask you, and I'm not trying to be nosy or anything, but does the physical situation, are you kind of worried that you can't get it done physically? Not financially, but can you handle this physically, another move so soon?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
See, that's the great thing, Hassel. Like
Uh-huh.
even my desks that I have my computers on, because I've got this kind of I've got two desks here to make an L shape for my work computer and my personal computer, and so and they're very lightweight. And all I need is a hex key to take them apart, and that's it. They're 3
Yep.
pieces each. And other than that, there's not anything here that I can't carry out, because this place was
Awesome.
furnished. I did not have any furniture.
Mm-hmm.
That was the whole point. Where I'm going is actually going to be furnished.
What are you gonna do with your bed?
My bed's still in storage.
Oh, so you'll keep, okay. So the storage, you're going to keep that there, but some might come with you
Yes.
to the new place. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that this is going to be a terribly long-term arrangement, but
Right.
hopefully it's some place where Ethan will be able to join me in a couple of months.
Yep. And just having that there would be such a difference. And I think in a couple months, not.
And you know, and a lot of people talk about, oh, you've made your personal life open on YouTube. Well, yeah, I have. But there is a reason why. And it's because I really have decided that once I get back on my feet, I want to help younger widows like me.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I think you'd be a great candidate. I think you'll listen to the story. Like you said, you got to in this situation.
Because sometimes, you know, husbands pass away and the wife doesn't work outside the home at all, Hassel.
Yep.
And, you know, a lot of the advice out there is meant for women that are at a completely different stage of life than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And mostly, I think a lot of these women need to know that they're not alone. Just talking about it, just to bring some awareness to the issue,
Mm-hmm.
because there are a lot of women in this day and age that you know, my husband and I just did not have, I didn't have time to accomplish everything I wanted to professionally with what I was doing before
Mm-hmm.
he passed away.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think a lot of people at your age aren't thinking about that, death insurance, health insurance, that kind of thing. I know that fortunately, right before my 40s, I did sign up for the work insurance that had been offered to me for the whole time I worked for them, right? I finally signed up for it. And thank God I did, because shortly thereafter, my husband did get sick and we needed that health insurance. And then, I had some issues too, and back then, and thank God we had it. And it's just something that in our youth we're invincible. We don't think about it, but I'll
Now
tell
the
you,
whole health insurance thing, oh, we've always had health insurance. I raised a child with multiple invisible
that's right.
illnesses.
Yeah, you always had that then. Yeah. Yeah. I just went without it thinking we didn't need it and stuff. Thank God
And a
we
lot of people did back in the day, but not me.
yeah,
And
freaking
see, that's pretty much what happened to me, freaking. And, you know, I don't say that so people can feel sorry for me. I just say that so people know that this happens to people. And my husband's social security is closed to me because I'm too young. My son, who of course was raised by my late husband, and financially supported by my late husband and myself. He can collect it. I don't need it. When I'm of age, I will have my own, you know. But I also have to think about what he is going to do after I pass away, because as we all know, tomorrow's not guaranteed. But that could take a year or more for it to come through. Pretty much. There were things that happened to us as a couple, things like illness, medical bills, things like that. For children, for both of us.
And I'm sure that your employer, should you pass while working, has some type of a death benefit that matches your annual income.
Yeah. And of course, he would get that.
Yep. Either
Or,
your son or his caretakers. Yep.
And you know, all the medical bills. I mean, my husband's too. You know, my husband, he could be so incredibly stubborn about going to the doctor. Just going to the doctor, corrosive. He'll back me up on the stories.
Oh, I know. I've been there. That husband I mentioned that got sick shortly after we got the insurance was a smoker, and he wasn't feeling well. And, I insisted he go to the doctor and took him there. And she said he's having a stroke right now. He needs to get to the closest emergency room as soon as possible. And he said, "Can I have a cigarette on the way?" Huh.
Oh, yeah. The day that his urologist called and said, yes, one of your kidneys has to go, but first you've got a AAA that needs taken care of.
And AAA has to do with the heart, I'm going to guess.
Abdominal aortic aneurysm.
Okay.
Yeah. You had to have that aneurysm stent put in. And of course, even then, he's like, I'm the one who was driving. He's the one who's on the phone. He says, we need to stop and get a pack of smokes. I'm like, hell no, we don't. I said, there's no way I'm going to stop and buy you cigarettes while you've got an aneurysm in there. But he was so stubborn. I remember when I went to work for the general surgeon, it took me 6 months to get him in for an appointment, to nudge him, to prod him, to beg him.
Lord.
And then, of course, he was diagnosed with diabetes. Mm-hmm. He was so incredibly stubborn. He hated all the diet jellies. And he wanted to just go back to the regular ones. But then I started researching on how to make ones he could eat. Mm-hmm. That experiment worked. I found a way to make one he could eat that tasted remarkably like the real thing, even had a good sticky texture to it,
Mhm.
and had a negligible effect on his glycemic index as well.
That's good.
But see, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Hassel. All of that for him to have normal blood tests in May of 2023.
And how often does he get those blood tests?
Well, he was going for his appointments. He needed his refills on his medications and everything.
Uh,
So he had normal blood work in May of 2023. He's doing remarkably well. His blood sugar was well under control. All his levels were good. We just didn't know that other kidney, that remaining kidney, had started to atrophy.
mhm.
There was nothing yet in the blood work that was indicating that. Wasn't time for his CT either. Whenever you have one of those endovascular stents, you need to have a CT every year.
So it was pretty rapid then, that even with
Mhm.
the regular testing and stuff, it just no way to
Yeah,
catch it.
yeah, because you have to have a CT. You have to make sure that that is still correctly placed
Mhm.
and everything, because it's risky if you don't. And I would instruct him that he needed to have both types, both with and without contrast, because his vascular surgeon liked working with contrast. The urologist, he always ordered I wanted to kill two birds with one stone, because they were keeping an eye on two things. They were keeping an eye on his remaining kidney, and they were keeping an eye on that aneurysm stent.
Hey, I didn't know if anybody had heard that our favorite Terry had some weather issues where he lives and had some damage to his home, and for a while wasn't sure how things were going to go. But I know that he's back to getting on the internet and is safe and good. Just wanted y'all to know that about him. Don't He doesn't like prayers, but give him a shout out.
Tots and pears. You want to have some tots with pears? Yeah.
With an oxygen tent, huh?
With my husband, I think it was the fact that he always complained that one test turned into 10.
Hmm. Yep, sometimes it does.
But all of that fussing just goes back to what my husband always said: honey, when it's your time, it's your time. There's nothing you can do once the Lord calls your number.
Yep, that's right.
All the fussing, all the homemade jellies and jams, and
Yeah.
teaching
Yeah.
my son a new way to make spaghetti sauce, because the one we had been making had sugar in it, and Michael's diagnosed with diabetes, and it just,
Hmm. Yeah, and for my ex-husband, when he had this stroke, the salt, we had to stop using the salt. And you don't realize how freely that salt might have been thrown around before you had to cut it out of your diet. And I've never gone back to the salt since then. Well, I'll eat a little bit on a tomato, fresh homegrown tomato, but sometimes you gotta, right?
I will eat salt on potatoes, eggs, and watermelon.
Yeah, it is good on that watermelon too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Uh,
Like salt on watermelon. It's good. But other than that, I don't use salt until after my food hits the table, and even then very sparingly.
yeah, I remember even rinsing the canned veggies off with water to make sure there was no salt, to get rid of as much salt as you could.
Right.
Food was very bland.
I've talked about my husband a lot on this channel
Hmm.
about how kind and good and loving he was. I never said he was perfect. In this one respect, he was incredibly stubborn. That and the quitting smoking. He wouldn't put the cigarettes down, Hassel.
Yeah, maybe he knew something nobody else knew. Maybe he was just
Maybe he knew it didn't matter in the end. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, Mike. But sometimes I look at a picture of my husband and me, and I'll just say, why? Every so often, I'll just look at him and go, why?
freaking hit that link. Get up here and tell us about your pink salt.
Oh, yeah, I've used pink salt. See, back when my husband,
Heard of it.
I used to buy pink salt back when my husband was working because the company he worked for carried it. And I could get like a big thing of it for practically nothing.
Hmm. What is it? Less iodine? What's the pinkness about?
Lower sodium content because plus it has minerals.
Hmm. Yep. I found that a box of salt can last several years now in my cupboard. And has.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I've been live forever now.
Yep. Almost hour 15. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Let's get the prime attraction.
All right, freaking, then put Mrs. Freaking on. We'll visit with her.
All right. This is kind of this is a no makeup Sunday. Half the time I don't have makeup on when I cam up.
Oh, there's Tobers. He's so cute. They're so soft and furry. Yep. See, we would even watch that on a short every morning. We'd be looking for our Tobers for President short every morning.
Obers. My kitty baby. Kitty baby. Cats are the only creatures that can simultaneously be a kitty baby and a large boy.
Mm-hmm. And I hope that because it sounds like you're working with the same landlord if you do move, that she now understands that what Tobers is good and might even allow the pet for free. Maybe.
Oh, there's not an extra pet deposit, actually.
Oh, nice. Good.
And plus, this is also someplace I can take, my son can bring his cat.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, he can have his cat too.
That's great that you're gonna get a bigger place or a place that can
Plus,
accommodate you both.
also, well, this room that I'm looking at, it's a better setup, and also I'll have my own bathroom. It won't be shared.
Mm-hmm.
That, and it's less money.
Yep. That can be a good thing always.
Yeah,
Beach.
I'm not complacent with the status quo.
Yeah. Beach 12366 says, Liz, I enjoy your panels because the conversation is calm, normal, adult chatter, and lacks the hen fighting and I keep bumping into. Thanks much. It's cool, Beach.
Meow. You talking, Tobers? Meow.
Oh, we hear it.
All right. I guess he wants to
Oh, I thought I heard him say, vote for me.
vote for me. You know, the other tenants here and the owners, they've got their own pets.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is a really big bloodhound.
Oh.
I'm going to show y'all. Beautiful dog. Huge dog. And really, see, before I started going live about Rebel, this was originally how I envisioned things. Having a much more conversational vibe and talking about things that actually matter.
I have a hard time being on the panels where everybody's talking over each other. I just my ears don't want to hear that.
I don't care for it either. And I don't care for having to talk loud enough to be heard over it. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what I can.
So tell me again, how come we're not getting the music anymore? Did somebody make you think we weren't enjoying it? Because I always did.
Oh, I think I hadn't had time to really think about what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
There's the
Oh,
bloodhound.
look at that lover boy.
Yeah,
So
big.
So he knows there's a cat in the house.
Yep.
And he's okay with it. Can you dox his name?
You know what? I haven't asked the owner what his name is yet.
Ah, killer. I
No, he's so sweet.
know.
Oh my God, he's sweet.
Mhm.
This and the other dog, they're sweet too. Yeah, they, yeah. I've got away with animals though. They're
Mm.
good. I'm good with them. Yeah. And there's just so much of it. There's so much of the petty people that aren't even on my radar. They're just not. And
I think I hate that lies can be so easily told about someone, and that person that's told about has to show receipts to prove that it's not true. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. No, they said it. Let's let them prove it. But did anybody tell you what did happen with Rebelina? I don't know. Did we miss the initiation or?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he is her problem now.
Yeah, I think that's great that everybody can just save their donations. He's got the state of Massachusetts and that taking care of him and all of his
More
needs.
power to you. Let's see if you can keep these, Rebel. Let's see if you can keep these ladies in your pocket. Go
Well,
ahead.
I did see Katie's yesterday where she was saying that, gosh, how long did that live stream go? At least an hour and a half waiting for them to show up to do the initiation. And then he shut it down.
I do have one thing to say. There is a Rebelina in this situation, and it's not Nick.
Mhm.
It's you, Connie.
Yep. Yep. Nick just got her own special needs to come up on the panel. And
Yeah,
you're it.
I have Chicky hopefully working on something for me
Oh
in that
God.
vein.
That'll be good.
Yeah,
Yep.
Chicky's turning it into quite the clip artist.
Hmm. Yes, she is. She's got some good ones.
Yeah.
I edited what I thought was going to be a video. It turned out being a short this morning, and for the first time, successfully did it on Clamp Clip Champ. Is that it? Clip Champ, the free one that you can get.
Oh,
Yeah,
I,
and
I don't know. I'm not into clipping. I'd rather have the chickies of this world shine on that.
well, I used to be able to just pull up my laptop and the photos and videos, and boom, it was right there. And I don't know what happened; it's not there, and so now I had to download something. And I do enjoy it as long as I know how to use the tool, and I don't know how to use it. So it's quite
If I were Brett, I'd be saying I ain't a clip kind of meme. I'm just a mouthy bitch from Fort Worth with a mic.
Mhm. There ain't nothing wrong with being mouthy bitches from Fort Worth.
It's like a mouthy bitch from Fort Worth with a mic. I ain't a clip kind of meme.
I found it fun to do, but my God, it can, for me, you can just get lost in it. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at the clock and you're like, where'd those 12 hours go? I haven't even finished this video. So, but it was sure fun.
Well, I don't know. I've gotten in touch with some people that, I've known for a long time, and but still I'm mostly keeping to myself.
Well, it's like getting severely wounded, and it's going to take time for that wound to heal. And also, your world got turned upside down, Liz. You got to learn how to live now with you and your son. It's just you two. So
Yeah.
it's a whole new living.
Well, my mental health has been so much better this time around that it's enabled me to. I've now come to understand that when people have a hard time recovering from a catastrophic loss in their life, when they have a hard time moving forward, it's because they're having a hard time accepting reality and accepting their fate. And in the past, I've been that person. And I know that I gained nothing and lost a lot from that viewpoint.
Right.
I'm not a dummy. I learn from my mistakes.
Yep. Picking yourself up and moving forward, and this time you've got some knowledge behind you and experience, and like El Sancho says, tough times don't last, tough people do, you midget.
I guess all the tiny feet jokes I've made over the years are coming home to roost.
Mm-hmm. That's tonic for you. Getting out there telling all your secrets. You did not play for women's basketball, apparently.
Oh, I see. I am hopelessly uncoordinated. I am clumsy, bordering on dyspraxia. It's, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I wasn't ever going to be on the stage.
I feel you, girl. Do you remember when you could go take an aerobics class? I couldn't. I was so uncoordinated that I'd get the move down and they were moved on to the next move. And I was like, oh, I just got that one down.
Well, my mom, she put me in dance lessons when I was little, and we tried that for 2 years before my mom pulled me and said, you sing like an angel, but you can't dance to save your life, my daughter. And that was that. It was music lessons for me from now on.
Yep. And you probably thought you were very graceful.
No, I didn't.
You
Look,
did.
hustle. When I was 6 years old, I knew I did not look like the other girls when I was moving. I knew it. That keen awareness of knowing that I was not good at something I was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't great. And I was a whole lot happier with music.
Oh, yeah, music. Man, music can get you through so many things when you have absolutely nothing, you know. Having that tune in your head or in your heart or in your voice. Yeah. God, you probably remember the album that got you through the last time you hit rock bottom. What album was it?
I don't know. I have different times in my life call for different things, and I don't know.
I remember Van Halen's 1984. Just that's an album that will take you right back to what you were going through, and that some of those songs were playing along with what was going on in my life, and just just that'll take you back there, and then Matchbox 20, the one where the guy's on the front of it and he's wearing the hat with the two little ears on it, the fat man's on there. I can't remember the name of that album. Oh boy, that's a good one that will take me back to that time and the shit that was dragging you down.
My theme is not the Oompa Loompa song.
It's that other one that the what is it? Short people ain't got no reason.
I know.
No, not that one.
Oompa Loompa doo-ba-dee-doo. I've got the perfect for you.
Let's hear you do the next line and throw Sancho in there. Now you're gonna kick his butt.
Nah.
Have you been watching any good movies?
I'm not a TV person. I'm kind of like AC in that I'm a YouTube person. It
Oh, I
just,
watch them on YouTube. I don't have television either, but you can. YouTube's even got a movie channel you can find and watch their movies. There's commercials, yeah, but
I wonder, is there any members of the Tilt in there? Are they here today? I saw LG here earlier. She was here.
what do you got? Viewing 13.
Let's see.
Has your car been doing okay? I don't know if I got to ask that earlier or not.
Yeah, in a couple of weeks, I'm probably going to be putting a little more money into that car.
Yep.
The car is paid for.
Mm-hmm.
That was a relief, believe me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, and winter will be here before you know it, so you do want to get her taken care of before.
yeah.
Too cold for you to stand on the bus corner, right? God, I remember those days. Woo. It sucked going to the bus in the wintertime to get to work.
Yeah. Of course, adding a hybrid day means I save on gas too. Of course, I don't spend a whole lot of gas. I fill up my car probably once a month, Fossil.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I might even do that much myself. And you guys call staying home hybrid day?
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm in the office sometimes and I'm at home sometimes. It's called a hybrid position.
I'm a home agent, and I knew I had to go into this center here a few weeks back, and having medical issues, not the same as you, but medical issues that you're like, oh man, I need to prepare for this and make sure that I'm going to be healthy enough to make this road trip, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, this job was the big experiment. See, I've said before, it was my fourth attempt at full-time employment. And every time, I would have some sort of setback with my health. And contrary to popular belief, it wasn't always mental health. It was often my physical health, like just the whole severe anemia that eventually led to my RA diagnosis, because that's a factor with RA, iron deficiency. Um, but I would take those experiences, and finally I figured out exactly what I needed to do to make working full-time work. And 2 years later, it's still working. So the experiment worked.
Well, I think also a lot of the employers are willing to work with the candidate, especially when they have the hybrid program. That's, if you can't make it to work, let's get you set up at home and we still get our 8 hours from you and the benefits of you as an excellent employee.
Well, that's, yeah, the whole, I wound up having to take out some intermittent FMLA just so I could make all the doctor's appointments I'm going to have to make this year.
Mhm.
I'm just waiting for my new rheumatologist. The worst thing about that is I can't have any more steroids right now.
Oh, we talked about that last time. And that's what makes you Superwoman.
Yeah, well, number one, if you have steroids too often and too short a period of time, you're at increased risk for osteoporosis and other negative side effects. It can make you gain weight, you develop Cushing's. I mean, I'll even cam up again right now. My face is very round from the last dose of steroids I was on. Because first they gave me an injection. Well, the last time I had an injection, I got a moon face. I was kind of swollen up for a couple of weeks. But this time I got an injection and followed it up with another steroid pack. And this dose of prednisone was a lot higher than the last dose. So my face is still pretty swollen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can just tell compared to my picture, which was taken a month ago.
Yeah.
A month ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't gained any weight really. It's just my face.
Yep. It's how your face is reacting.
Cushing syndrome.
Freaking, does she like being a home agent? Is there a more positive an impact on the family or negative in your opinion? How do you see her being a home agent going? I like it. I like to be here for my packages when I mail order. It's a comforting feeling, that I'll be here to receive that and nobody's going to steal it. I thought I'd lose weight being a home agent, but yeah, that didn't happen. But you do, I think you have more control over what you eat, don't you? Not that I'm putting good stuff in my mouth, but yeah, it's more control of what and when.
And see, I don't do anything different at home than I do at the office. I was already taking my lunch every day anyway. You can't lose weight. And yeah, in a 2-year period, I've lost almost 100 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
That when, let's just say when Truthfinder doxed my husband's obituary, the picture in that obituary was part of a picture that was 2 years old of me and my husband. And a much heavier me was part of that picture. The only reason I haven't shown it is because our granddaughter was also in that picture.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I don't blame you.
So,
let's see. Freaking says she had a choice when they closed the call center down, severance or work. Yeah, I know what you're talking about there, Freaking. Oh, that's not much for severance. That's, I don't even think a month.
And you can take this 1K severance, or you can work from home and still have your job.
Yeah, but she's a mom. You guys got some kids, don't you? Freaking little kids, maybe. So I don't know. I feel like that might be a good thing. Is it a good thing for a mom to be home? Emergencies, the kids have to come home sick from school, things like that.
Hmm.
Yeah. So older kids now. And he laughs like, phew, phew, made it through that. Oh, geez, you got teenagers, man. Wait, Oy vey.
Oh, I don't. I feel bad. Oh God. Wow. 3 teenagers. Dear Lord.
Mhm. Could you imagine?
You know, I had quite the time with 2.
Were they close in age like that?
Yeah, my kids were 21 months apart.
Mm. Yep.
Yeah.
Talk to you later, Beach.
Yeah, my kids were 21 months apart. They were very close together. Yeah. My son is 24 and my daughter is 26.
How's your daughter doing with losing her stepdad? And
She This turned out to be a benchmark in her life because my daughter was more upset about my husband's passing than teenage her ever thought she would be.
yep.
Whereas my son and my husband were extraordinarily close, my husband and Natalie had a longer path to a good relationship that didn't really happen until after she was grown. Parenthood gave her a whole lot of perspective that she didn't have before. And plus, after her breakthrough, she realized what her mental illness was doing. She realized that her stepdad loved her very much and had always been there for her. Something she could never count on her biological father to be. For my granddaughter, losing my husband has been my granddaughter's becoming acquainted with the fact that death is permanent.
And how old is she?
She just turned 6. You know, before, you know, my granddaughter, she started kindergarten last year and, you know, she just graduated from kindergarten. But this has been her learning that death is permanent. It's forever. Because she realizes that her granddad is gone and he's not coming back. And oh God, she adored my husband. My husband had a really great way with little kids. He was good with my daughter when she was little. It was after she got a little older and ill that things weren't as great. But he was very good with little kids. And I think it's because kids instinctively knew that my husband was never going to be mean or raise his voice to them because that's not who he was.
That would have been a hard conversation to have with that little girl.
A hard conversation.
Yeah, with the granddaughter.
And I think it's kind of been one of the reasons it's been tougher for my daughter to cope. My son being very well adjusted and very close to my husband and close to me too. has had an easier time coping. Because his relationship with his dad was never tempestuous.
Mhm.
Was never fraught with any strife or anything.
Right. Yep.
So, with my daughter, I've had to comfort her and just let her know that he knew that she loved him before it was too late. And he did. He
Yep.
really did. That he knew that it was her illness that had affected things so badly when she was growing up.
Yep.
But of course, my daughter, as she's grown up, she has realized that being mentally ill is not a reason or an excuse for treating people badly.
Right.
In fact, that's what my daughter had to say about Rebel.
Uh-huh. That's the truth.
But of course, my daughter at 26 is an adult. She's a mother. She's a wife. She's had to make sacrifices and decisions that weren't all fun and games for the sake of her family. She's gotten quite gifted with sewing, though. She made my granddaughter's dress for graduation, and it was white and it had beading and little blue butterflies on it. And
That's a wonderful talent to have.
oh, she didn't learn it from me. Her grandmother taught her to sew. My ex-husband's mother.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she didn't learn it from me. My mom did not have that talent. Now my grandmother did, but by the time I was old enough to really learn, my grandmother, her health really wasn't good enough to teach me anything anymore. But my daughter, of course, had the advantage of a young grandmother because my ex-husband's mother was in her early 40s when my daughter was born. Kind of like me, actually, because I was only 42 when my granddaughter was born. But she was in her early 40s, so she had a younger grandmother, and so she taught Natalie to sew. Natalie, when she was in middle school, she made a period costume for her Phantom of the Opera project. She just the stuff she would tackle, and with very little help, by the way. But now she's, making little dresses for.
Custom made.
Yeah, she bought a
Uh-huh.
dress form and everything, and she and Anya, she loves it, having custom stuff made by her mama.
My mom was a great sewer, and so was her grandma. It does seem to skip a generation there, doesn't it? Because I
And
wasn't ever interested in it.
yeah, well, my mom, she didn't know how to do any of that either, but her
Uh-huh.
mother did. Like I said, she
And I,
made.
I didn't appreciate the custom made clothes she made us either. I didn't like it. I wanted to go to the J.C. Penney store and buy the same thing that all the other girls in my class was wearing, right? And now
And
I'm like,
see,
the custom made stuff would be awesome.
not me. I would have loved to have had the custom made stuff. In fact, uh, I was glad that we had sewers in the family because my daughter had a lot of custom made formal gowns in high
Mhm.
school because of that.
Yep.
So when she went dances and everything. She wasn't wearing the same thing everybody else was.
Yep. Something different.
Which I thought was good. Plus, it was so much less expensive than going out and dropping $300 or $400 on a dress. Dear Lord.
Oh yeah, and they've even gotten more expensive since then.
Really?
Oh gosh, um
it's been 8 years since my daughter graduated from high school. So
yeah, AC had two daughters needing dresses not too long ago, didn't he? And I remember him talking about it. I was like, dang, those dresses have gotten expensive, but I haven't had to buy one of those in decades,
Yeah, well, with my daughter, I bought quite a few dresses, not just for dances and stuff, but for going to our Bass Performance Hall in Fort Worth.
Yep.
Because my daughter was studying voice. In fact, she had an opera coach at the time. And we would go to performances at the Bass Hall. So I would buy dresses for her, for us to go there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was expensive. Having a teenage daughter, there's hardly anything more expensive than having a teenage daughter.
Oh, yep. That's the truth.
It's just, wow.
Yep.
And, I preferred having the dresses made for her. And so did she, because she got to pick out what she wanted, the colors she wanted, the look she wanted. And it was a lot less expensive.
And do you remember what the last dress cost? Can you throw out a figure?
Oh, Lord. I don't remember what the last dress cost. I want to say it was probably not like a floor length gown, so I probably got her out of there for a couple $100. So it was more of a semi-formal gown. But after that, I started having them made.
Mm-hmm. And it was a lot cheaper, wasn't it? And fit better, probably.
Yeah, look better, fit better. She liked them better.
Mm-hmm. She got to throw some of her own creative thinking into it. Creativity.
Oh, yeah. And of course, she's doing that with my granddaughter now, which is good. But, she had a hard time coping with losing her stepdad.
Mm-hmm. I suppose,
but in an odd way, it was comforting to me that knowing that she misses him.
Mm-hmm. That he did a
When
good
we
job.
were during those tempestuous years of her adolescence.
Mm-hmm.
And in all fairness, Hustle, most of it wasn't her fault.
Mm-hmm.
When you have the big bad boogie monster of mental illness breathing down your neck, and you have a doctor who is bound and determined to under-medicate you on new generation antipsychotics, when what you need is the old big dog Haldol.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because that's what we were looking at with my daughter. My daughter, when she was 12, they diagnosed her with schizoaffective disorder. We were warned later down the road that it could be a full-blown schizophrenia diagnosis. Almost over the years, everybody's seen the commercials for Abilify and Latuda and Seroquel and Risperidone, Ensaphris, all of them. My daughter has taken all of those. All of them. All of those are antipsychotic medications, by the way. And the most she ever achieved on second generation medication was kind of a white knuckled kind of sanity.
Mm-hmm.
And then she got married and got pregnant the first time and could not take the lithium anymore. And we were looking for a new psychiatrist for her because she wanted to try Haldol. She wanted to try the older medication. It was rumored to be a much stronger medication. After all, it's what they give the people in psych wards in those injections.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Abilify they put in those injections. And she went to her new psychiatrist and she said, let's try it. And within days, there was a huge change. Within days.
Mm-hmm.
It was like day and night. It was like a different person. It was like getting my kid back, honestly. Because obviously she wasn't born acting that way.
Right.
But it was a lot like getting my daughter back. It really was. And just the fact that she had a doctor who was bound and determined to keep her on those new medications because Haldol causes too many side effects. Really? Well, all the weight that these new drugs put on people, those aren't side effects. The elevated triglycerides and the fact that she's not under good regulation. You know, none of that counts for anything.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's body is different and sometimes takes different adjustments to it. So I'm glad that
There's some side effects with the older medication. There are, but she has a fuller life with it.
Yep.
She has a much happier, more content, saner life with it, by the way. So it's a pretty fair trade-off, if you ask me.
Yep. I agree. She looks forward to the next day instead of just trying to get through it faster and faster. You know, let's get through to the day because then tomorrow will always be
The way
better.
she put it, she said, for the first time in my life, I wasn't one bad day away from being on the 6 o'clock news.
Mm.
That's the way she put it to me.
Yeah. So she definitely was feeling better. I mean, physically, mentally, everything.
So, but she, my daughter, when she was in high school, she was diagnosed with ankylosing spondylitis. Well, her new rheumatologist is now questioning that diagnosis. And of course, my daughter, she's been off immunosuppressants and hasn't had any steroids, so she's in a good place to be diagnosed. Because when you go to a rheumatologist, you need to be off of all those things to be diagnosed, which is another reason I can't have any more steroids right now, because I need new testing. I don't need to be diagnosed, but I need to see where my levels really are and not have them artificially affected by steroids.
Yep.
But she was diagnosed with this, and her new rheumatologist is questioning it. And now we got to figure out what the new rheumatologist thinks she actually has.
It takes so long to go through all the testing he's going to want to do to figure it out.
Well,
It
she's
just takes
already
forever.
had the MRI.
Mhm.
And apparently there's no inflammation in her sacroiliac joint, which is the hallmark of AS. However, she has chronic bursitis in her pelvis. I don't know what causes that, but whatever. I never do anything but fret over that child. But here's the thing. This diagnosis, her AS diagnosis at 16, meant she went on biologic immunosuppressants at 16 and has been on them for years.
Mm-hmm.
She went off of them for a little while when she was pregnant because she felt like she should because of the pregnancy. Because if you take those biologics while you're pregnant, your baby can't have vaccines for 6 months. That was how my daughter explained it to me.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that with some drugs, it's going to need some drugs that need to get you in that direction. You're now going to take a medicine that's going to take you over to that direction now because you got to go that route.
Right.
Yeah, it's never fun.
But when I was, the thing that my daughter was diagnosed last year with was type 2 narcolepsy. And so I decided to go to my daughter's sleep doctor because I strongly suspect I have it. And I mean, I'm not bullshitting.
Mm-hmm.
I am a morning person. I'm up early every morning in the world. I love to get up early.
Mm-hmm.
And I get up and I'm rip roaring ready to start the day. And I get to work. I get to the office. I sit down at my desk, and about 9:30, I start to drop off. And it takes me a while to get through that cycle and be awake again, so to speak.
Interesting about that. Because you talked about the exhaustion stuff. But yeah, I suppose at work, if you're feeling that, because
Well, I noticed what all my daughter's been getting done ever since she's been treated for her narcolepsy.
mm-hmm.
She's making clothes for her and my granddaughter. She's getting stuff done. She's planning an expansion on their 100-year-old house.
Yep. Hey, that's how I learned I had allergies was from talking to my mother, and she's telling me how her day was and her sniffles and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's happened to me. And she's like, oh, that's allergies.
I mean, I'm so proud of her and everything. She's just, and it was being diagnosed with narcolepsy and going on modafinil, which is the first line treatment for narcolepsy, that has made such a huge difference. And when she was talking about the symptoms she's having, I decided that I should probably see a sleep doctor. And now I'm in the process of on getting a test scheduled so we can find out what's going on with me.
So did you have to go to your primary care physician first and then get that referral, or were you able to do that
Actually,
all on your own?
I didn't. I didn't. Almost every other sleep doctor I had called, but I asked my daughter about her doctor, and she says, no, I didn't have to have a referral.
Uh-huh.
And
That's
the
nice.
best thing of all, see, whenever you're diagnosed with narcolepsy, you usually have to go through a 2-study process. You have to go through the regular nighttime sleep study, and it has to be inconclusive before, and of course, this goes into my territory, before you can get a prior authorization for an extended study, which takes place during daytime hours, which is going to be when you can diagnose something like narcolepsy.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't diagnose narcolepsy during a nighttime sleep cycle. It has to be during the day. And But my insurance doesn't require prior authorization for the extended study. I can just go skip straight to it. And I'm like, yes, good.
Mhm. That's nice. Because I tell you, these insurance companies don't like you having that much freedom.
Yeah. Well, apparently, with a lot of insurance companies, they want you to have an inconclusive nighttime study before resorting to the extended study. It's
Mhm.
conservative treatment. I know. Like they want you to have physical therapy and injections before you have a knee replacement.
Oh, yeah, to go through all those first. Yep. And then the doctor says they didn't work. That's why we need to do the complete knee replacement. Yep.
Of course, if it's bone on bone or something in the x-ray, then you don't have to deal with all that. You can just
Yeah.
skip right ahead to surgery. There are certain things that, like I said, we're getting into my Rain Man topic here. My job requires a very intricate combination of clinical knowledge and insurance knowledge.
Mhm.
And I have to memorize a whole lot of stuff, like the insurance company Aetna, like their criteria is the x-rays have to say bone on bone, and it has to be that language.
Yep.
And every company is different. They all have different criteria. You can figure out like you have to almost be some sort of weird savant to do it, honestly, because you have to have an almost, I don't know, Asperger's type brain. I don't know. Because you have to have this weird hodgepodge of clinical and insurance and coding and all sorts of crap.
Yeah, I've done doctors, I've done insurance, and I've done underwriting for insurance companies. So I know what you're talking about.
Oh,
You got to have the exact wording, or otherwise it's going to be rejected no matter how many times you submit it.
yeah. And how, no, I have never dealt with an insurance company that covered treatment for gynecomastia. Well, back when I worked for a general surgeon, I would submit requests for predeterminations on those surgeries because,
Mhm.
man, it's kind of like, dude, just lose some weight and go to the gym and get rid of your man boobs that way, okay?
Mhm. Yep. Um, you know there was the Viagra was the first ED drug, and then there was the second one. I can't remember the name of it.
Cialis.
Yeah, and that one I believe they found would help people breathe easier, I think. It also helps. It also helps just. It was used for a different thing, and they realized that hey, it helps with ED. So I had a friend that was given trying it for the whatever the other issues. I feel like is breathing, and the insurance company would not. It wasn't covered and would not want to pay it. But he also, or no, actually, it would work. And then he realized that it helped for ED, and so he just kept telling the doctor he needed it for that breathing issue, so he could have it for the ED issue as well. And then they just, now it's really just sold for the ED. And still, I don't know, rather expensive, isn't it? Or are they giving that to you on your insurance plans, guys? Freaking, did you get yours free through your insurance company?
God, awful.
We'll see if he's still here.
He's going to tell you I'm not that fucking old.
Yeah, so. But yeah, you're working both sides of you need to know both sides of the insurance company for your job. And you're right, it's numbers. Geez, it's just nothing but numbers, letters and numbers.
My going into insurance and doing what I do now is basically how I rose from the ashes
Mhm.
from everything life had thrown at me. Whether it was my dad's health issues or my mom's health issues or my daughter's health
Yes.
issues. And I basically took all those lessons that I learned dealing with their doctors and their insurance companies and all the clinical knowledge I gained, trying to find out about that. And then, of course, the worst of all, my husband in 2020, after I was already in the medical field.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I don't know, for working over with the companies over the years, they don't want the regular consumer to understand what an EOB is, what a PCP is. They want them to get that explanation of benefits and pay it. They don't want you to question it and look at your benefits and realize, hey, that shouldn't be me paying that. They almost would like you to pay it, and if you no questions, no problem. Pay it, dummy.
Eyes of war.
Oh no. Why are you coming in here giving us a hard time, AC?
AC, it is eyes of war. But it was basically me taking everything I had learned over the years and turning it into something constructive.
Yep.
And I found out pretty early on I had a knack for understanding health insurance coverage.
Yep. Yeah, because once someone explains it to you, it is easy to understand. And I bet your employer did love you. You knew it all. They didn't have to teach you that stuff. You just need to know what codes to put in. AC is like 1241.
You know what was really funny? When I had the job, when I got the job that I have now, I was already experienced with what I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
But I was also coming from a practice with the same electronic health records software. The only thing they had to teach me was some odds and ends things about the specialty, and then they turned me loose. And I've been there ever since.
Well, then good morning to you, AC. He just got up. But
Well,
he had a show
late
last
night.
night.
He had a late night. They had a show, and they didn't start until after midnight.
Oh, snap. I tried to stay up.
I didn't even try.
I know what. I was like, oh, man, just give up. Go to bed.
I have to maintain my schedule the rest of the week. And every so often, now, here a couple of weeks ago, I was up late on the shit show. In fact, it was right before I moved. I was up at 5 a.m. and I was on ACs.
They were still going at 5 a.m.?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it was AC had a late start. And I was on the panel at 5 a.m. And you want to know why? I was about a week into my prednisone treatment. I was flying high.
Yep.
I couldn't sleep for shit.
Uh-huh. Good old prednisone. It's all sorts of energy until it stops.
Yeah, it's so bad for you. It's so bad.
Well, I usually get up at 5 a.m. and when I see those guys still going live, or like Jamie still going live, I'm like, man, how do they do it? How do they do it?
Yeah. When Jamie is still live at 5 a.m. and you're like, dang.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And there's a lot of times where Jamie goes live and AC's been live or Brett's been live before that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yep. Well, especially on Saturday, because you start off with maybe Katie, then Brett, then the Ghost and Bird.
Oh, Bird and Ghost.
See? Oh, what did I say? Oh, yep.
Bird and Ghost, and AC usually goes live afterwards with an after show.
And if Jamie's got anything left of energy, he might even still be going. Heck, we've seen him go to what, noon or 2 o'clock the next day, haven't we, Jamie? Wasn't there maybe one day he went that late? Because I know I was working. And like, they still going? I'm on break. They still going? I'm on lunch.
Yeah.
Anything fun going on this week for you, Liz?
No, just working. It just same old, same old. Like I said, I don't. Before Mike passed away, it was just him and me, and we would do stuff on weekends and stuff together, but not a whole lot. I mean, see, he and I were just homebodies. He and I like to stay home.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there's nothing wrong with that. Like we said earlier, you create your home for you to be comfortable. If you're not comfortable in your home, you did something wrong there. But that's where where you want to be.
Yeah.
Especially if one of you is not feeling too well.
And now with him passed, even if even if I had finances that enabled me to do a lot of socializing outside the home,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I quit drinking a handful of years ago, and so one of the reasons I quit going out was to not have the temptation of the alcohol, the vodka cranberry drink with the dinner and after the dinner, that kind of thing. And not that I won't ever drink. Well, I probably won't with my medical issues never drinking, but I just didn't want to tempt myself with that or be around drunks for that matter, because it's always fun to be one of them when you're hanging out with one of them. So that's why I stopped kind of going out and doing that sort of thing. But now I just got this other issue that I don't get to eat freely and do what you all get to do. So there won't be any dinner plans with anybody anytime soon in my life. It's every man for himself when it comes to food at my house.
Men are so expensive to feed, and I am not.
That's true. Hey, I don't, yes, steak's not happening anymore for me. So, yeah, if the food can't freely dissolve itself in a glass of water, it ain't going in my stomach. That's all there is to it. So,
I
bread, potato chips, cookies.
But yeah, like here lately, I've been getting to eat all the salads I want.
Yeah, oh, girl. I tell you, I remember that day when I got to eat all the salads. 30 days in a row, I ate salad. Maybe just a salad, maybe salad and something else. And about 30 days, and I'm like, yeah, I think I could go a while without a salad now. It was awesome.
I haven't been eating well, I haven't quite been eating them every day, but pretty damn often. And plus, like I've been having like toast with avocado and bacon.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been enjoying that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That avocado, that's some good stuff right there on toast or on a bagel or just on a plate with salt and pepper.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, in fact, I think I'm about to make myself a little lunch.
Yep.
A little toast.
Well, you and AC can have breakfast together. Yeah, so it sounds
Sometimes
like
toast with some peanut butter on it for breakfast,
dang, yeah. That peanut butter is always good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked it when the doctor and the nutritionist said, we want you to eat more calories. I'm like, so you're okay if it's just chocolate chip cookies and hot tea? And like, for now, yeah, you just want to get calories in. I'm like, okay, no problem. But I am starting to figure out food that I can eat now that isn't just full of sugar, which I feel better on than all that sugary stuff. So
Yeah.
a croissant. A croissant is just a wonderful meal these days, all by itself.
So I think I'm going to head off. I'm going to lie just over 2 hours.
Nice. Well, it's great hearing from you and that you're planning on changing things here in the next couple months. That's awesome. And
Yeah, well, I'm thinking in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to make this next move and go from there. And just, I was calling my ex-mother-in-law and telling her about this, and keeping her fingers crossed.
she gonna be okay when your son leaves their home? For, other than the every other weekend?
Yeah, because, he would go over there. And the truth is, my son was going over there every other Saturday and spending the night with them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because he is very close to them.
That's great.
Yeah, and that is true. His grandparents is his home away from home.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
There,
Well, I think that your situation is just something that the community should, and without, I know you've just gone through so much heartache and stuff, but it's going to be a feel good moment, a feel good story. It's something that, look, this is what a community can see and help and see the outcome on the other end of it, and why we want to keep our donations going in a positive direction instead of to no good piece of shit rebel city grifter kind of guy. You know what I mean?
well, there is that.
Yeah.
There is that.
So,
But yeah, it can be Nicolina's problem.
yeah, heck yeah, I think they'll handle it quite nicely. Yep. So.
The content is going to be amazing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes.
Yeah, when Connie's out.
Yep.
I keep telling him nobody wants to give him money forever, and he doesn't believe me.
True.
He doesn't believe me.
Well,
Nobody wants to just keep handing you money. And it doesn't matter whether it's somebody like me or somebody like him. Nobody wants to just keep handing you money.
Because that it's a pack of cigarettes today, but we've all seen how he's going to work it. It will need to be $100 for something really important that their heartstrings will be pulled out. And
it's not even so much what he wants to spend the money on. And I mean, I understand what you're saying.
Yep.
That even if you're really helping somebody, the day comes that you eventually have to kind of help yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're really helping somebody with something that they really need.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do it forever.
I don't know if it was last night or Brett's live before, where I sat, they're covering the blog, the Turtle Boy blogs, and to see him using the same language in there, yo, Massachusetts, whatever, the Commonwealth, they letting us down and all that shit. I'm like,
something criminal happened to us.
Yeah, it's the same fucking lingo.
Our lives are in danger.
Yeah. So no matter how many donations you give them, apparently it ain't helping, folks.
Shelters aren't safe. Yeah. Whatever. Not safe.
And he still ain't got no fucking couch. All right. Well, I think you were about to wrap this up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope I see you on the streets of YouTube.
Oh, you will. You will. I'll be around.
Nice chatting with you as always. And everybody in the chat, we'll see you all around. I'm going to step down, Liz.
All right. Y'all have a good one.
You too. Thanks. Bye.
Well, nice little quiet, uneventful panel today. I just thought I'd go live and chit chat, talk about nothing in particular, which is what I'm doing. Still rebuilding, still figuring it all out, one day at a time, but always working towards the goal of putting things back. Not quite the way they were, but a new beginning. So y'all have a great Sunday. And as Hassel said, we'll see you around the streets of YouTube, and happy Sunday.